I've got this really pretty Steampunk cat DTF transfer, and I've got the Let's Resin chrome powder in red, and I thought they'd be lovely together, and I've been dying to try out the red, so I thought that's what we'd do today. So I'm going to start off just by dusting round the outside of this moulds and shapes tray with this red. Wow, look at that. That looks lovely. So while I'm just dusting around this, I'd just like to say a massive thank you to all my subscribers. Thank you ever so much for subscribing, and thank you for your likes and comments and shares. It really does mean the world to me. And every time you hit that like button or leave a comment, it does help our channels, because YouTube then puts them out for more people to see. So really grateful for that. Thank you ever so much. And thank you for all my coffees and super thanks. That's really much appreciated. And any money that I do get from anything like that does go straight back into the channel. And it helps me to purchase new items to bring out to you. So thank you ever so much. Right, so I'm just going to finish off dusting all around this mould, and then once that's done, I'll come back and we can do the next bit. That's all the red done, and I've cleaned off the middle bit with a baby wipe and some 99% alcohol. And look at that red. That's absolutely gorgeous. That's going to be lovely come Christmas. Right, so next I'm going to use Arteza mica powder in Space Grey, and I'm just going to cover the entire middle section with this. So I'm just going to get a good covering over all this. So I'll do this and then come back for the next bit. So you've got voice over me for this bit because I pressed record. Well, I thought I was recording and I pressed stop, and when I thought I'd stopped, I pressed record, so it was all round the wrong way. So what I'm doing here is I'm using the technique that I saw Wendy from Toonpish Crafts do, where you're just using a piece of scrunched up tape or sellotape, and I'm using gaffer tape at the moment, and I'm just taking off layers of that silver or the grey colour mica powder. And you do have to keep changing over your tape when you do this, because obviously it only will pick up so much of the mica powder each time you're taking it off. So I'm just getting fresh pieces of tape and then just taking off some of that mica powder. So I'll just pop you on a quick fast forward while I do the rest of this, and then you'll probably have voice over me for the next bit as well, because I mucked that up as well. So that's how it's looking at the moment, and then after that what I did was I went over that again with the red. So that's how it's looking after the red's gone on. So I'm just going to mix up some resin and then I'll be back to do some pouring. I've mixed up some Let's Resin 1:1 epoxy resin, and I'm going to add to that some black resin dye, and this one's from Deco. So gonna put a generous, oh, what have I got in there now? What did I have on my glove? Let's just get that out. Don't know what that is, but we'll get it out. Don't want any nasty bits in our resin, do we? Right, that's that got out, I think. There we go, don't know what that was. Right, so I'm just going to, oh, I think it's the stuff off of here, look, that's what it is. Right, let's be careful how I'm doing this then. Put some of that dye in there, and then give this a good mix up. So I'm just going to Mix this in really well, scrape around the sides. So I'm going to do this off camera because people don't like the cup scraping, so they tell me. So I'm going to get this mixed up, pop it through my vacuum chamber, and then I'll be back to pour. This is all mixed in now, so I'm just going to really slowly just let that find its way into all those little druzy crystal edges there, because normally like you'd give it a spray with some 99% alcohol to eliminate some bubbles, but because I've got the mica powder on here I can't do that. So just letting it flow really gently should help stop too many bubbles. So nearly done. Right, and then I can just put the last little bit in the middle and then scrape out my pot. I think I could have done with making a little bit more up, but I think that would be fine. So I'm just going to give that a quick torch, and this is just with a cigarette lighter, one of those ones that don't blow out in the wind. So just give that a quick torch, and then we'll leave this to cure, and then I'll see you back for demold. This is all cured up now, so let's pop this out. Let's see how it's looking. Oh, lovely. That looks really nice. So next we're going to put on our little decal. So I'm just going to trim round some of this just to make sure it all fits on. So just trimming that off a little bit. Cut down there and down there. Right. Yes, that should fit on okay actually. Let's just take those bits off just to make sure. Trim that bit off there. Trim that bit off there. Right. Yes, that will fit on fine. So I'm just going to remove that backing paper and line that up. So I'm just going to see if I can put the middle down first. So just lowering that down and then let the edges fall down. And then take my little squidgy and then get that on there. I'm going to try and hold off a little piece there, just so as I've got something to grab hold of, because this top layer needs to come off. Right, then we peel that layer off there. Come off nice and easy. Some of them are really hard, but that one came off okay. Right, so that's how it's looking. And I also want to put on some, let me just clear this off out of the way. I've got some little cogs here, so I thought they would look quite nice in between some of those bits, and some down there. And I was going to put some at the top, but maybe I'll just put them along the bottom, and then some there. Let's put that one over that side. How many have I got there? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, I can't cope with 5 and 4, so I'll just get another one. Right. Oh, that's got a loop on it. different one. Right, that would do there. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would do. So I'm going to use some top coat nail varnish and then just hold those in place using some of that. So put that down there and there. Let's move those out of the way for a minute. Just put some of this down there because I want to give the whole thing a top coat, but I don't want these to float. So this should hold those in place. So then the same again, the other side. Put some of that down there. And then put those on there. That one there. That one there. That one there. Move that up a bit. And that there. And cure that. So I'll just give that a quick blast with that first of all. And then I'll just set those down with my main lamp just for a couple of minutes. So that's how it's looking now. I love that background, the way Wendy showed how to do it. I really like that. Oh, and this DTF sticker, it's been discontinued on Temu, so I can't link that in the description, unfortunately. Right, so I'm just going to mix up some resin and then I'll be back to give this a top coat. I've mixed up a small amount of the Let's Resin Epoxy 1:1 resin, and I'm just going to add to that some gold non-sink glitter. So I'm just going to pop a small amount of that into there. Actually, a little bit more, I think. There we go. I think that will do. And then mix that in. Hopefully that will give us a nice little gold sparkle on the top coat. Right. And there's quite a few bubbles in there because I mixed it quite fast, but it's only going to be a thin layer, so we can pop those with a torch. So I'm just going, oh, I think I saw a hair there. Let me just get that out. Right. So just going to give this all a nice top coat. Just get that last little bit out of there. There we go. And then work this to the edges. And the DTF stickers, you don't have to top coat them because they are permanent and waterproof. But if you want to add, you know, a little bit of glitter or something, it is nice to give them a top coat. Right, that's all covered. There we go. So I'm going to give that a quick torch with the cigarette lighter. Pop any of those bubbles. There we go. So I'm just going to leave this to cure, and then, oh, there's a little bit there I need to move over. There we go. Right, so we're just going to leave this to cure, and then we'll come back and then we'll finish off this edge bit. This is all cured now, and that gold sparkle in there is looking lovely. Can you see that in there? Looks really pretty. So I'm going to finish off around the edge here using some gilding wax by Pebeo in gold. So I'm just going to pop some of that onto my brush and then wipe the majority of that off. And then I'm just going to lightly dust around this edge just to highlight some of that detail. So that's how that looking there. So you don't need a lot on your brush. You really want to take the majority of it off. See, when I do that, there's hardly anything there. So just gonna finish off around this edge here, and then that'll be this piece all finished. That lovely red, it's gorgeous, isn't it? Really love that. Right, last little bit, that last little bit there. Right, there we go. So that's my little tray all finished. So thank you ever so much for watching my video today, and stay tuned for the pictures at the end, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye for now.